We're back here on the Juice on the Cuse podcast. Wes Chang here with you. Non-conference play is wrapping up, which means we're a third of the way through the college basketball season. And we welcome on the Juice Online senior college basketball analyst and 2003 national champion, Andrew Kouwe. Andrew, how are you today?
I'm fantastic, Wes. How about yourself?
Doing well, Andrew, and a lot to talk about. So the last time we
Indeed.
spoke about a month ago, Syracuse was about to go through that gauntlet of games against Kansas, Houston, Iowa State, Tennessee. We know a lot more about them now, about a third of the way through the season. So what do you think of this team?
Yeah, what a gauntlet, right? Three games in a row, three tough teams. Oh my goodness. Let's start with the Houston game, because to me that was really probably the most important, because that was the beginning of the gauntlet. That was the hype. Like, we're going to see him play a top three team. One of the things that I loved was just the work ethic, the energy that team plays with. I mean, the tenacity that they play from a defensive standpoint. I mean, it's really, a credit to Coach Autry and the whole coaching staff. It was really impressive. Now, it's a heartbreaking loss. Like, you can't, there's no way around it. Had an opportunity to win at the end. And that just happens, and there's always going to be kind of an after effect. I thought coming out the next game, they played hard, but Kansas was a better team. That happens, and then you get to that third game, and it's just you're just mentally it's tough, and they're still a young team, they're still a new team. So I was really still just impressed with the beginning of that start of just energy and just the defensive tenacity. And so I think that's that takes a lot of heart and a lot of energy to do, and that was very impressive.
So then we move forward, and Syracuse upsets Tennessee, probably the biggest win of the Adrian Autry era, but he follows that up with a loss to Hofstra, which Syracuse has never done before, and that was really deflating. And I keep in mind that Donnie Freeman has not been available for the last few games. He had been in a boot, and he should be available in the next few weeks as ACC play starts. But how concerning of a loss was that to you? Because I think that really concerned the fan base a lot.
Yeah, no, for sure. Listen, you lose at home to a team that you should win, coming off a big win. That hurts. I think what you brought up, I think if you remember last month when we were talking about Donnie Freeman, I said, to me, he was the most important player on the team. Because of what he can provide and what he can give to others, right? He can attract defenses, he can score, he can rebound. It opens things up. He can do a lot of things. You can change your lineup depending on how you want. The gauntlet that we went through was without him, right? We're still without him. Like, the team is still, again, it's still figuring out. The coaching staff is trying to figure out which way to go, because anytime you take one person out, if you put Cayenne in, he's a better offensive player, but you lose a little bit on defense. His defensive ability isn't up there with JJ or Nate in terms of man-to-man guarding. Same thing from the backcourt. If you had Donnie, you could play around with how you're gonna use that. The front court and the big players. So. It's still that kind of trying to figure out what balance do you want in terms of more offense, more defense, and that's the struggle. So the Hofstra loss was tough, and you don't want that to be on your resume, but it is, and it can all be erased with another big win against an ACC team. So, that's where you're getting ready for conference play, and you're going to have, a lot more opportunity to kind of rectify a loss like that.
So, Andrew, one other thing I wanted to pick your brain about, and this was particularly evident in the Hofstra loss, was free throw shooting. And Syracuse has never been a particularly good free throw shooting team, at least as long as you and I have been around the program. And this goes back to when you were in a Syracuse uniform 25 years ago. But this year, I mean, it's a cut above the wrist. At one point, Syracuse dead last in the NCAA in free throw shooting. I know they've upticked a little bit based on their performance against Mercyhurst, but when you were playing, how did Coach Boeheim prepare for it, and can it be fixed?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult because it's really a mental thing versus kind of a physical, technical thing. I mean, you can do a little routine, maybe get a better routine. It's almost like it's very similar to a penalty kick when it comes to a soccer player, right? Some of the best players in the world won't take penalty kicks because just mentally it's just odd to them, right? That kind of open space and it's just you. You know, we would do free throw shooting at the end of practice. You try to do it when you're a little bit more tired. So just to make that used to when you're playing in a game. And you do little things that you can in terms of try to putting pressure, saying, all right, at the time, Carmelo, you make this, if you miss it, everyone's running 3 sprints and stuff like that to kind of put pressure on the kid. But at the end of the day, there's no pressure like there is in a game. And that just kind of being on the free throw line and it's a confidence level. It's right. It's a professional golfer taking a 4-foot putt. It's just having the kind of confidence and, everything's slowing down. And I think the only way to do it is just continue the repetition and practice and, maybe look at for certain players, is there a routine that they could do in terms of, 2 dribbles versus, 3 dribbles, the way they step up to the free throw line. Those little, I think, nuances can help just kind of relax and just have that understanding that, I'm good, I'm going to make this, or if I miss, it's not that big a deal, just that kind of calmness. So fingers crossed that it gets a little bit better because we've lost games because of it. And I think if we can tick up to high 60s, get into the low 70s, it changes big.
You mentioned Carmelo, which is actually something that I've had on my mind because you spent a whole season with him. You got to watch him play every single game. You practice with him. So Carmelo as a college basketball player probably better than anyone else in the world. So here's my question for you. We've had 11 games now, and you've had 11 games to watch Kai and Anthony play. It's clear that he's a different player than his dad, but compare and contrast them, compare their playing styles. I know Kyan's probably not as far along in terms of his development that his dad was, but I do see some similarities and some differences. What do you see?
Yeah, I mean, Kyan is definitely more of a pure guard, right? He really likes to get the ball more up at the top versus like Carmelo was it started in the post, a lot of face up and then maybe face ups but just a more aggressive player, just had a little bit more strength to it. And you can see Kyan is more top of the key or getting it around the 3-point line and then working kind of his game. I think I said like last month talking about him, like he understands angles and spacing and kind of getting a shot off or getting space without having to be the fastest player or the player that jumps the highest. Like he's been lucky enough probably to have that kind of individual training to where he knows how to use footwork and jabs to stuff like that. So I think to me watching him play, and I think the college game has probably been an adjustment for him in terms of speed and strength. You look at that Houston game, he's going up against one of the best defenders in the country, right? And he's going to have turnovers, or he has confidence in himself that he knows that, or let me go take this drive, or let me get it. But he's played against a really good defensive player, and that defensive player might win out that series. So I think with him, I think one of the things I see from him is making sure that when he starts his progression or he starts his offensive work, is that to me, it seems like it's happening more too far away from the 3-point line. So that I think if the coaching staff shows him that tape of saying, hey, look at where you're starting this progression, like look how far away from you the basket. It's too hard to get to the basket from this point. Start it a little bit closer, maybe a little bit more movement off the ball to get a little bit the defender make him chase and stuff like that. So that just comes, I think sometimes when you're a high school kid and you have that easy ability to score, you can get a little bit lazy in terms of just give me the ball and let me go score, right? Where in college you got to be a little bit more efficient in it. So I think as he gets used to the college game, getting that starting at a better area, getting quicker to where he wants to go, I think will just help his offensive game, and you'll see that progress over this season.
And Andrew, I want to get you out of here on this one. As I mentioned, we're a third of the way through the season. We got a pretty good sample size now. So I'll ask you, like I did in our last podcast, does this still look like an NCAA tournament team to you?
Listen, I still believe it. I'm hopeful with Donnie Freeman coming back that is going to be another push. But I think you have, first of all, the team plays unbelievable defense, right? You see how hard they play. That's huge, right? You see the scoring ability of certain guys. You see that the team is going to mesh. But I get the sense that they like each other. They're having fun together. That only is going to build as they practice more, continue to play more games together, get a better feel for each other. So I think, it's only, as much as those 3 games in a row hurt, it's tough to lose those 3 games. I think the win against Tennessee, I think getting Donnie back, it's all, gearing up to, continue the growth. The trajectory is going to go. There's going to be another bump here or there, but if we can keep going up, I think then, another few key wins, they can definitely. So I'm optimistic, but I'm also always optimistic.
Andrew, thank you as always. Again, our great friend, former Syracuse guard Andrew Kouwe, 2003 national champion. Andrew, appreciate the time as always. We'll catch up soon.
Wes, great to talk to you as always.